Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live on Monday and Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Bookmap YouTube, Bookmap Discord, and the Bookmap YouTube channel. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel that I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X. My name there is @DougPless. Just want to let everyone know that Bookmap is encouraging everyone to join Bookmap Discord. You do need a Bookmap subscription to fully participate in chat and watch the streams in Bookmap Discord. There's a free subscription available. You can scan this QR code for more information. So once you join Bookmap Discord, you will need to verify your account, free or paid, and then you can fully participate in chat, like my chat room, as well as many other chat rooms, and watch the streams live in Discord. Here are the key tenets to my approach to trading. This is the basis of my approach to trading. I believe that options trades and market maker hedging activity are key drivers of price in many stocks and futures, certainly in the large cap tech stocks like the Magnificent Seven stocks, as well as the equity index futures like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. And for the S&P 500, SPX is the underlying index, SPY is the ETF version of that index, and the ES futures contract is a derivative of SPX. And for the NASDAQ 100, NDX is the underlying index, QQQ is the much more liquid ETF version of that index, and the NQ futures contract is a derivative of NDX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in SPX and SPY, market makers take the opposite side of those trades. They hedge their delta exposure with the ES futures. And for the NASDAQ 100, when traders buy and sell puts and calls in NDX and QQQ, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with NQ futures. More about that as we go on today. The focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading. The first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis. And for setups, and when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset. Setups in that asset can be taken with futures contracts, shares of stock, or options, depending on the asset as well as the way you like to trade. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel as well as the chat in YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. Hello Viper, welcome, glad you're here. And hello Trader Pete, Ed, and Dan P, welcome, glad you're here as well. Here's my agenda for today. Hello Stephen, welcome, glad you're here as well. Hector, also welcome, glad you're here. And WRB also. Here's my agenda for today. Sotorazi says, Mike sounds like it's on the floor. is anyone else having an issue with sound? I'm using my normal headset. Again, is anyone else having an issue with sound? And Trader Pete, all right, so Ed, mixed reviews. Give me just a moment. Let me check something. About 30 seconds. All right, how's this? Can you hear me now? Anybody let me know? All right, I'm going to proceed on. All right, Stephen, all good? All right, here's my agenda for today. First of all, Monday, November 11th. First of all, I want to go over news items, economic data, and events for the week. All right, I think the problem was I did have my camera plugged in. I must have been using the sound from my camera rather than my headset that I'm wearing. All right, so back on the headset now. Camera with mic is unplugged. All right, so here's my agenda for today. First of all, I want to go over news items, economic data, and events for today as well as the rest of the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from earlier today. Then I'll take a look at the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has anything, stocks or futures they want me to take a look at, please let me know. I'll be glad to do that. Hello, Hector. Welcome. Glad you're here as well. All right, let's get started. And Slow to Razi, thank you very much for the notification about the sound. All right, let's take a look. First of all, economic data and events for today as well as the rest of the week. This is the Spotgamma dashboard homepage. Events calendar for the week. First of all, today, just to note that the bond market is closed for today for the Veterans Day holiday. All right, coming up on Tuesday this week, there are a number of Fed speakers actually throughout the week. Then on Wednesday, CPI data comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Also more Fed speakers. CPI could be a market mover. And then on Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, PPI data comes out. And also Jerome Powell will be speaking at 3 p.m. And then finally on Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, retail sales come up. So CPI on Wednesday, PPI on Thursday, retail sales on Friday, and Powell speaking at 3 p.m. on Thursday. All right, so that's the economic data. Let's move on to positional analysis now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I do want to take a look at a higher time frame. I'm going to go to SPX, the underlying index. This is a 1 year, 1 day chart. Rally continues. New highs last week, huge week last week, well above the expected move. All right, let's take a look now at a 30-day 1 hour chart. Then we'll get back to Bookmap. 30-day 1-hour chart, you can see the huge rally that began on Wednesday after the election results came in and resumed moving higher on the FOMC day, which was actually Thursday. Traded up above the call wall at 6,000. Same today, now looks like trading below that level. All right, let's take a look at the levels on this chart. First of all, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. This is based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday. And then the dashed blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move, also based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday. I do post those levels in Discord every day the day before. So I posted those levels in Discord yesterday afternoon. All right, the dark red lines in this chart are Spotgamma levels. Let's take a look at the key daily levels. First of all, the put wall back down at 5,500. That's a strike with largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. So put wall again back down to 5,500. Pretty big drop from Friday. Not in play, but back at 5,500. Next level up is the volatility trigger at 5840. That is Spotgamma's proprietary volatility and gamma flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to their delta exposure. That tends to enhance or increase volatility. Above that level, like SPX is trading now, market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to their delta exposure. And that tends to subdue or decrease volatility, leading generally to more trend days, range trading. And that could be the case around this next level up. The call wall absolute gamma strike at 6,000. That's a strike with the largest net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. And that's the call wall. The absolute gamma strike is a strike with the largest absolute positive and negative gamma. And as Hector pointed out this morning, the call wall is the strike with the by far the largest gamma on the board. We'll take a closer look at that in just a minute. And in a positive gamma environment could lead to pinning around that price, especially as expiration approaches. Price remains around that strike, and gamma will just increase as Friday expiration approaches. All right, shifts in levels. Again, the put wall shifted lower from Friday. The volatility trigger just shifted slightly higher. So those are the levels in play. Certainly the call wall being an absolute gamma strike at 6,000 being the most important levels. All right, let's take a look at the 1-minute chart for SPX. Take a closer look at the levels in play for today. I've got several days worth of price. There's the huge gap up on Wednesday. Then price action for today, very much in a consolidation now, slightly trending down. Looks like maybe trying to make it back up to that 6,000 level. Shown up here. So SPX earlier today was just trading in a range between the upper daily expected move on the upside and the call wall absolute gamma strike on the downside. Now has broken down below that level. More about that in just a minute. All right, back to Bookmap. All right, so this is the ES Futures in Bookmap. And I'm going to point out the key levels in play for today. First of all, this is before the cash open. And this is the upper daily expected move for ES, not SPX. And again, this is before the 9:30 cash open, which is right about here. Right about here. All right, so note the resistance at the ES, upper daily expected move. All right, now let's scroll in, zoom in a little bit. Look more at the cash session. So again, here's the upper daily expected move. And S&P 500 finds resistance at the SPY 6,000 absolute gamma strike at call wall. Very good entry point for a short. And then finds support at these two combo levels. These are combo 1 levels, very important for SPY and SPX. SPY at 598.53 and SPX 6002, just above the SPX 6,000 absolute gamma strike call wall. Again, resistance at the SPY 6,000 absolute gamma strike call wall. Resistance at VWAP, that light blue line, and then price broke down below the prior support right around 1 p.m. Now again, showing somewhat mean reverting price action. We'll keep a close eye on this as the S&P 500 trying to make its way back up to the 6,000 absolute gamma strike call wall. All right, so those levels in play. Also note the SPY 597 level acting as support so far today. All right, so just a note on these levels. Again, I believe SPX is the underlying index for the S&P 500. SPY is the ETF version of that index. That's why I have SPY and SPX levels shown on this chart, and that's what I emphasize. All right, so now S&P 500 testing that 6,000 absolute gamma strike call wall. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. Then we'll get back to setups. NASDAQ levels in play. Key here. And by the way, in NES, I use the price lines add-on to show these lines and levels on my chart. All right, so remember, also note there is a difference in price between ES and SPX. Today it is about 27. So ES minus SPX equal 27. So I'm showing the 6,000 level for SPX. That's an SPX number at ES 6,027. And I do post those index relationships that I use every day in Discord. So another advantage of joining Discord, the expected moves for SPX and also the index relationships. All right, back to NASDAQ. So remember, again, at the cash open, the S&P 500 broke down below the SPY 600 call wall. Same here. NASDAQ broke down below the QQQ 515 call wall. And has been trading under VWAP since then. Looks like NASDAQ found support around the NDX 21,000 absolute gamma strike. All right, let's take a look at the underlying index charts for QQQ. For the NASDAQ, first of all, QQQ. Again, there's that 515 call wall. NASDAQ broke down below that level just after the cash open. And that is the only Spotgamma levels in play for today, a combo level just above that. And then so far today, QQQ found support right around the 511 level. Let's take a quick look at NDX. Let's zoom in on today. All right, for QQQ, there were no shifts in levels no changes from Friday. Levels in play for NDX. These two levels right here line up pretty closely with the QQQ 515 call wall. That is the NDX put wall, kind of an odd shift higher above both the call wall and absolute gamma strike. So that's the put wall at 21,160, very odd, trading above both the absolute gamma strike and the call wall for NDX, and lining up pretty closely with the QQQ 515 call wall. And note support around the 21,000 absolute gamma strike. All right, back to Bookmap, NQ Futures. And again, I have QQQ and NDX levels shown on this chart. Again, breakdown 515 call wall, support right around the 21,000 absolute gamma strike, and the QQQ 511 level just below that. All right, let's wrap up positional analysis by taking a look at Gamma Notional. I'm going to start with Gamma Notional at the beginning of the day. We'll take a quick look at this. Market maker's position on the Gamma curve at the beginning of the day for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Note all these numbers are positive. In a positive Gamma environment, that indicates traders are, for an index, traders are short calls, market makers are long calls, hence the positive Gamma. They have to trade against price to their delta exposure. Those numbers, while positive, did shift lower for SPY, SPX, NDX, and shifted higher, slightly higher, for QQQ. All right, let's take a look at another view of Gamma. Let's go to real-time Gamma. This is the trace tool available to Spotgamma subscribers. It shows different views of different Greeks. This is Gamma, showing market makers' position on the Gamma curve, positive Gamma. Really in this zone right here. You can see the blue positive Gamma bars over on the columns here, the column to the left, with a pocket of negative Gamma up above 650, 6050, and Gamma definitely getting thinner down below. Gamma Notional getting less positive, but the SPX, this is what this is for, trading in a very positive Gamma zone right now, and that's right around this. Oops. Again, right around the call wall key Gamma strike. Let me zoom in just a bit. All right, so you can see the concentration of positive Gamma right here. That's at 6,000, and the strike above 6,050. Let's take a look at delta pressure. So moving on now to real time. This is what this is showing this morning. This red zone is selling pressure. And it's very clear here, looking in hindsight, seeing the selling pressure. This line right here is hero. That line right there, hero, maybe easier to see down here. And that's the index signal for hero. And as price move lower into a buying support zone shown by the blue, now price back up again to the 6,000 absolute gamma strike and call wall. And let's just take a quick look at that 6,000 strike. Again, thank you, Hector, for pointing it out this strike this morning, 6,000. That is the call wall and absolute gamma strike, and very clearly the most dominant gamma strike on the board. Call is the orange bar is showing positive gamma or call gamma, and the blue bar is showing negative gamma or put gamma. All right, so based on this, my thesis for the day, I was looking for lower volatility for price trading in a range, and that was definitely the case this morning. It did break down below that range. Now looks like, again, trying to get back up to the 6,000 level. All right, let's move on now to real-time execution. So we'll get a closer look at what options traders have been doing today. So I'm going to start with the S&P 500. And again, we're moving on from planning analysis now to positional analysis to real-time to execution, starting with the S&P 500, also starting by taking a look at what options traders have been doing today. This is the hero signal available to Spotgamma subscribers. There are two lines on this chart. The white line is price, and the purple signal is the hero signal. Purple line is the hero signal. And that's showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal of SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures. So this is the index signal. And again, showing combined puts and calls, options trades, market maker hedging activity for those index components. The other signal that we can take a look at for the S&P 500 is this equity signal. And same thing, price for SPX shown on the white line, and the hero signal shown on the purple line with the purple line. Now in this case, the hero signal is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for all 500 stocks in the S&P 500 index. All right, so both provided good signals today. Let's start with the S&P 500 index signal. I think a little bit closer price today. Let's go to full screen. All right, so basically a short at the open. There was a long leg up, and then another move lower. That has continued all the way down below 6,000 and now back up. Let's zoom in on this a little bit. Or you can see from the open, the hero signal made lower highs and then broke down right around 945. Price moved lower. The flow alert that came in right around 10 o'clock, that signals significant options activity and can often act as a mean reverting price signal, indicating in this case a shift from negative delta options flow to positive delta. And that's exactly what happened about 10 minutes later. Note the hero signal shifts higher, makes a higher low, and price reverses higher at those combo levels. So we'll talk about those two, then we'll get to this next reversal lower. All right, let's go to Bookmap. Go back to the S&P 500. And let's zoom in to about 11:30. Give me just a moment to adjust my chart. All right, so just after the open, S&P 500 found resistance at the 600 absolute gamma strike call wall. If we look closely at the volume dots in Bookmap show market buy minus sell. You can see the buyers are exhausted there. That small green volume dot. Aggressive sellers come in as traders were taking negative delta options positions. Price moves lower, chops around a bit. Excuse me. And then finally moves down to these combo levels and finds support. You can see the small magenta volume dots showing more sellers than buyers, and note the very small magenta dots. Sellers are exhausted, and that was driven by a sell stop run lower. That stops. Note also large traders buying with iceberg orders as price approaches that level. Very typical behavior for iceberg orders, large traders that use iceberg orders. That's shown by the light blue line. They will buy weakness and sell strength. And they were definitely buying weakness this morning. Aggressive buyers starting to come in as traders were taking positive delta options positions. Remember that flow alert, giving you an early warning, and price moves back up. Couldn't quite make it back up to that 600 call wall. And then there was another alert. Let's go back to Hero. Another alert. And this is a very clear peak here. And that peak is often a very clear reversal signal. Let's shift to puts and calls. And I'm going to have to jump back. Zoom in again. All right, so the orange line is showing calls. Again, this call peak, very clear call peak. Just a minute or two later, and price starts to grind lower. The blue line is showing puts, and the call line is showing, orange line is showing calls. Ed P says, I have different Spotgamma levels than you're showing. Now let's take a look. All right, Ed, I'll take a look at that chart later. Let me just show you where I get my levels. I get my levels right here. Let's go to SPX. This is where I get my levels. And I add them to my spreadsheet. Let's go to, let me grab my spreadsheet. These are the SPX levels taken directly from the index levels on the dashboard homepage. And then the price lines takes this information. Oops. And displays it on C1 is at 6,002, if this is the level you're asking about, right here. And using an ES to SPX offset, right, that's SPX, 27-point difference, and that makes the ES number at 6,029. Get a little typo here. All right, so that level's not in play. All right, so that's where I get my numbers. And let's go back to Hero now, and we can take a look at the equity signal. It says, okay, so you don't use the C1 Spotgamma gives. I do use the Spotgamma levels. I do use the Spotgamma levels, but I use my own system to show the levels at a more, typically a more exact price. Plus I show SPY levels as well. If you're referring to the Spotgamma cloud notes, they only, Spotgamma cloud notes for S&P 500 ES only show SPX levels. I show SPX levels, SPY levels, as well as ES levels, like that upper daily expected move that acted as resistance. All right, so again, I thought the index signal for the S&P 500 was more clear today. But you can see, looking at the equity signal that I showed just before, traders were buying puts and selling calls. And then they started buying calls. SPX found a low right at the 6,002 level. That's a combo 1 level. Price move higher. All right, let's go back to the, I'm going to shift back to the total, back to the S&P 500. All right, so that's the S&P 500. Again, today I thought more clear, still more clear than the equity signal. All right, Ed P, I hope I answered your question. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. So just like the S&P 500, there are two signals that we can take a look at for NASDAQ. First is this index signal showing options trades, market maker hedging activity for a combined signal of QQQ and NDX. That's the index signal. And then there's the MAG7 signal, which shows options trades and market maker hedging activity for the stocks known as the Magnificent Seven: Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. And these 7 stocks make up a very large component of the NASDAQ 100 and can often drive price. Let's go back. So both these signals provided a good short signal in the morning. Take a look at NASDAQ so you can see from the open traders taking negative delta positions in the MAG7 stocks. That reverses sharply higher right around 10:05. Price responds higher for a little bit. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ signal. A little bit closer correlation with price today. Not moving as sharply lower in the morning. Reversal higher came a little bit later, and then there's that peak again, just like the S&P 500 index signal. Peak, price reverses lower, shift back to puts and calls, and you can see that was another call peak. I'm going to have to jump back. This avoids the auto zoom. So another call peak. And then price started to grind lower. All right, let's go to Bookmap. Take a look at order flow for NASDAQ. Zoom in just a bit. So again, before the cash open, NASDAQ was trading below VWAP. Broke lower at the 515 call wall. Traded sharply lower in high volume. You can see all the magenta volume dots there. No clear support, but aggressive buyers did start to come in. You can see this shift. You can already see more green volume dots coming in. Cumulative volume delta there starts to slow down. More green volume dots coming in. Price makes a series of higher lows. Wanted to point out another indicator I have on my subchart. That's the market pulse price change indicator. Note how these extremes, shown with a bright red, line up with these low points and pullbacks. So there's the first reversal point. Next deep pullback, confirmed with the market pulse price change indicator. Next pullback, and these can often act as a slight leading indicator, as they're doing here. Next deep pullback, market pulse price change indicator confirms that. And then VWAP acting as resistance. In this case, NASDAQ makes a lower high, makes lower highs. As that call peak occurred, that was right around 1040, and traders started taking negative delta options positions. Let's go back to Hero. So there's that call peak again in the index signal, 1040. And accelerated down as traders started more aggressively selling calls and buying puts, shown by the following orange line, blue line. Orange line, blue line moving the same direction. Very powerful directional indicator. In this case, that was bearish. All right, let's take a quick look at some stocks, then we'll get to live market. First stock I want to take a look at is Coinbase. So there are a couple of stocks that are still closely associated with the election results from last week. First of all, Bitcoin trading at new highs today, all-time highs. I don't know what it's doing right now, but earlier today it was trading at all-time highs. Let's take a look at Coinbase, a proxy for Bitcoin. Rally continues. Traders buying calls. That's shown by the rising orange line. When traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls. They have to buy stock to hedge the delta exposure. They're buying calls. Positive delta notional value. Note the floor there it comes in right at the cash open. They're also selling puts. That's shown by the positive notional value for the blue line, put line. Let's take a look at Bookmap. Go to Coinbase. Rally continues. You can see the liquidity at the 300 level. And that is shown by the heat map and book map, a history of the limit orders in the order book. Looks like those orders were consumed. Price making a series of higher lows. More limit sell orders on the way up. Those limit sell orders in the order book act as a magnet for price. Traders continue to buy calls. Now it looks like they may be slowing down just a little bit. Coinbase rally continues. Next stock I want to take a look at today is Meta. Let's zoom in on the first couple of hours of trade. You can see traders were selling calls, started a few minutes after the open. That's shown by this sharply falling orange line here. And then Meta finds support right around the 577.50 hedge wall as call buyers stop selling calls, start buying calls, and then price moves higher. Let's go back to Bookmap. Go to Meta. And Meta, I just drew this line in. You can see that's the 577.50 hedge wall. Price did breach that a little bit, but started to move higher. Aggressive buyers are buying Meta. That's shown by the rising cumulative volume delta. Meta making a series of higher lows. Let's go back to Hero. All right, so it looks like since about 10 o'clock, traders continue to buy calls, but net for the day, they still are slightly short calls, also long puts. All right, that's Meta. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Zoom in. So you can see from the open, traders were selling calls, buying puts. Blue line, orange line moving the same direction. Again, very powerful directional indicator. Stock moves lower, and they take the foot off the gas. So the put buyers took the foot off the gas. They started buying calls. Price tried to move higher, and the call buyers took their foot off the gas again around just before, right around 11 o'clock. So let's go look at price action and Bookmap for NVIDIA. Sharp move lower from the open. A lot of aggressive sellers. You can see all the magenta volume dots. There may be in this whole move down at this zoom level. Let me actually zoom in just a little bit. Only a few volume dots. Oops. Only a few green volume dots in this whole move down. And price finds support right around 144 as the call sellers, put buyers, take the foot off the gas and now moved up to around the 146 VWAP and now grinding lower as traders have stopped buying calls. All right, so that's NVIDIA. Let's take a look at Tesla, another stock closely related to the election results. And for those of you who are Spotgamma subscribers, take a look at the AM Founders Note if you had not read it already, and previous notes from last week for more in-depth analysis of Tesla. So let's see what options traders have been doing today in Tesla. And for Tesla, I did look at I thought the total hero signal was a little bit more clear today. So initially from the open, up, then down. Very key flow alert here. Again, these flow alerts signal significant options activity and can often act as mean reverting signals. That's exactly what happened here. Traders stopped taking negative delta positions, started taking positive delta positions. Price moved up from around, 10:05, 10:10 to about 11:30. Took the foot off the gas. Price moved lower. So let's go back and let's focus on this move from around 10 to 11:30. I do need to update my spreadsheet for Tesla, add more lines above. All right, so here's the reversal. Just after 10 o'clock, traders start taking positive delta positions. Aggressive buyers start to come in, green volume dots. Price reverses higher, makes a series of higher lows. Then right around 11:30, hedging flow shifts to negative delta. Price moves back lower. More aggressive sellers come in. Cumulative volume delta shifts lower. All right, let's see what they're doing right now. Go back and check Hero. All right, so right around 120. Hero shifts positive and Tesla moves higher. All right, any questions? Does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? All right, let's go back and check the indexes. Go back to the S&P 500 index signal. All right, so remember, last time we looked at SPX, was trading right around the call wall key gamma strike. So it looks like now Hero signal is shifting lower as price reaches that level, maybe acting as a call wall as it should, resistance. Let's check the equity signal. So the index signal moving lower and the equity signal has flattened out, starting to move lower as well. So in this case, I would definitely be looking for a short in the S&P 500. Zoom in. Looks like ES made it back up just around those combo levels that acted as support before. Now resistance. That's where price broke down earlier this afternoon. Now finding resistance at the 6,000 call wall. So good short entry point here. Also nice trend break. And then multiple short entry scalps at the 6,000 level. Check NASDAQ. All right, NASDAQ also starting to move lower. Found resistance just below the 21,000 NQ 21,200. And that is the point of control, the purple line just below that. Let's check Hero for NASDAQ. Go to the index signal. Pretty similar to the index signal for the S&P 500. Yeah, the same sharp peak reversal. 1353. 1353. Check the Mag 7 signal. Also starting to move lower. So looking for a short in both the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Oh boy asks, hello, welcome, glad you're here. Any predictions on likely SPX close level? Well, let's take a look at Trace Charm and see what shows up. That'll help us. Looking at delta pressure, right now, this is somewhat of a neutral zone. Red selling pressure above. Blue buying support below, and kind of a neutral zone here in between. But Hero is moving lower. All right, so that's delta pressure. And let's get to Charm now. And in the afternoon, this can help to guide to a closing price. All right, so I would say, oh boy, pretty clearly the most likely closing price is the 6,000 level. And here's a very clear potential pin shown with charm pressure there, right just above that at the next, let's see where that is. That's really somewhere between 6,000 and 6,005. Both of these very positive gamma strikes. So that's how you can use charm pressure. Positive gamma over here. Very likely we looked at all the high concentration of gamma at the 6,000 level. And then charm is confirming a potential pin at the level. All right, oh boy, I hope that answers your question. So my call is for the 6,000 level just based on this. Would like to see Hero turn up. Let's go back, take a look at Bookmap. All right, so it looks like S&P 500 trading just below that 6,000 level in a very narrow range between the SPY 598 volatility trigger and again the 6,000 level. So earlier in the day, if you put on a butterfly at SPX 6,000 earlier today, that would have been probably a pretty good bet. All right, last call for stocks, questions, comments. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your questions and comments. Remember, Wednesday, CPI data comes out. Also, a number of Fed speakers. We'll talk about it on Wednesday afternoon. Everyone, have a great afternoon, and I will see you on Wednesday. Thanks. Bye.